By the way, I like doing 2 or 3 intros when I do these videos, especially when I'm with my buddy Ryan from Full Throttle Hog, a brand new channel. So I'm gonna show you some of the bike, he's gonna show you some of the bike. His is the more cinematic view, kind of like what you'd put in Hollywood. He's not snooty, don't worry, he's a nice guy. But yeah, this bike right now, already, before I've even set on it, Jeff from Triumph here is giving me the lowdown. I don't believe I've ridden anything like this. Can't wait to show it to you. Foot pegs are definitely more forward than most bikes that I'm used to. A lot of people prefer that. The mirrors right next to my hands on the outside, I actually like that. I've not experienced that before that I can remember. Really gives me a good view behind without these mirrors being too high. 26 miles on this baby, brand spanking new. A huge thanks to Triumph Motorcycles of San Diego for letting me take this out for a few days. 2,500 cc's, the biggest production motor in a motorcycle today, anywhere in the world. This thing's laughing at me at 70 miles an hour. So far, this thing does not bog, no matter how low I've got the RPMs. It really is geared nicely, which, if you're going up a hill and you lose a little bit of confidence, or maybe you don't goose the throttle enough, you're in a higher gear than maybe you should be, tells me this thing's gonna be very, very smooth up that hill and not stall on you. I'm sure it's not impossible to stall, but makes it harder to stall, which is very nice. The forward pegs on this, very nice, very comfortable. Upright position with the handlebars. Yeah, I could take this to Vegas and back easily. Something I really like about this bike, well, one of the many things, is that when you come to a stop on a new bike, you ever notice that you're not used to that clutch? So taking off can be a little jerky till you get used to it, the gearing. This has none of that. While I really love these forward pegs for more comfort in your legs, for distance, I would say you do need to get used to, for sure, the front brake being so far forward right there. But again, you get used to that in a very short period of time, just a different style bike, that's all. So your RPMs go up to 8,000. I wouldn't do that. You start getting in the red around 7. I think you're gonna do really well if you keep this at 6,500 or below. Now again, with the power in this motor and the gearing, you really don't need to go that high anyway, even if you want some speed. I'd call this a steroid muscle cruiser. Out of the way! Lived in San Diego my entire life, been riding for years. Ooh, that's pretty. And I've never taken this road. Handles very well. I'm not going overly fast, but I definitely have some good confidence, especially for being on a bike that I am not all that familiar with. Look at this little twisty here. One of the most surprising bikes for not knowing what to expect, this bike. There's my buddy Ryan filming for his channel, Full Throttle Hog. We're done doing glamour shots and, you know, getting all the sexy stuff. Well, me and sexy in the same sentence don't belong, but you know what I mean. All the sexy shots of the bike.
All right, folks. Hey, if you're into two-wheel fun, let me tell you what I got for you. I got our good buddy Motorcycle Monkey, and he has got an absolutely beautiful bike. When's the last time you seen an inline 3-cylinder?
It's been a while. And I tell you, you sure notice the difference in performance and the power in this bike. It is really amazing. This is a 2020 Triumph Rocket 3 GT from Triumph Motorcycles on Morena Place right off the 8 freeway. Kind enough to let me take this out. Single side swing arm, so you can see how sexy this side of the bike is. They're both phenomenal. Brembo brakes, all about performance. I would call this, Dave, a power steroid cruiser muscle bike. I mean, it's just, it's really, it's all of that.
Well, this side of the bike, in my mind, with the headers coming out of it, 3 headers coming out, going into a collector pipe. And I like the fact, because one of the things you find on motorcycles, this pipe is usually way out here. You ever notice that?
Yep.
They figured out a way to tuck this thing in real tight, and I like that.
Speaking of tucking in, check this out. I've never seen this on a bike. Your passenger pegs?
Yeah.
Look at that.
And look how far out. Oh my God.
It's so smart. Why, to my knowledge, why has nobody done this before? It just
hides them.
Well,
I love it.
There's a little bit of design in there, and that costs money. Whenever you do something like that, that's a lot of money instead of virtually having just a peg stick out that flips up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of design, but that's what Triumph's all about. When they came back with a vengeance.
Here's the other thing about this bike. I mean, you know that bikes that I brought in here before, anywhere from 650 cc's to say 17, 1800,
Sure.
those are big bikes, right?
Yeah.
1800. This is 2,500 cc's. To my knowledge, it is the largest motor on a production motorcycle in the world.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if this thing couldn't pull a tree trunk out of the ground with the torque. It's 165 horsepower,
Right.
163 plus foot-pounds of torque, liquid cooled. It is just absolutely phenomenal. And you think it's like 648 pounds dry weight. I think with gas and oil and everything, it's about, when you're riding, about 700.
Right.
It feels nimble and light when you're riding it. And around the corners, the other thing I like about this, Dave, I don't know if you want to hop on it, but I can too. It's got the forward foot pegs. I'm going to try and get my short legs
Well,
over
you know,
this.
I noticed that, and
Look at that. Forward.
And I think it gives you a much more comfortable, positioning on the bike. Instead of hunched over, or you're not squished down onto the tank, you're actually sitting at what I would call a correct riding position.
I totally agree. That's why I think you could do some distance with this. Here's the other thing about this bike too. If you look, I've got short legs. You know I've got short inseam.
Right.
29.5 inches off the ground, and my feet, no problem touching. You've seen me come on tippy toes like this on some bikes.
I know.
And I don't mind that, but here's the thing about this too, this TFT display. It's the computer on your bike. I'll turn this on. It's a keyless fob, by the way, that I have in my pocket. And when this thing, it's so awesome. It'll actually, you can do auto, you can do dim, you can do high contrast for night or day. You've got your different, so anyway, I can just go up and down with this little button over here.
Sure.
You can choose how you want that to look, but then you also go here to the mode button, right? And if you look over here, you've got road mode, you've got rain mode, you've got rider mode to customize it for yourself, you've got sport mode for performance. It's just an awesome, awesome bike.
All right. Well, hey, folks, if you love riding motorcycles and you haven't been on a Triumph in a while, where do you go?
Absolutely. Go to Triumph Motorcycles of San Diego on Morena Place, right off the 8 freeway.
Say
And these
goodbye.
are about 20, 22 and a half, and 25 out the door, worth every penny.
Say goodbye.
Thanks, Dave. Goodbye. Ride safely.
And a quick rundown with your TFT display. You've got 4 different riding modes. You've got a bike setup for hill hold, on or off, so you can enable it or disable it, which helps you keep the brake engaged just a couple seconds after you release the brake manually to help you get started with the clutch and the gearing up the hill. You've got several different setups on this bike that are absolutely amazing. You can choose whether you want traction control enabled or disabled. It'll even tell you when it's time for service. September 5th of 2021. It gives you all that information on that TFT display. If you want to see more of the Triumph on the road, my buddy Ryan behind me, his channel, Full Throttle Hog, click up here or over here. I don't even know where you're clicking, but it's somewhere here. Click on the link to see his channel and subscribe to it, would you? It's beautiful. He's very talented, more than I, in fact, which kind of pisses me off, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, please subscribe to Motorcycle Monkey channel, share it with your friends, and click on the bell icon to get notified of new videos. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you on the next one, and ride safely.